So the duty to assist can be a good thing for veterans. VA is required to take reasonable efforts to obtain evidence to help substantiate the veteran's case. But all too often, in our experience, particularly if you're working maybe with a veterans advocate, like our firm, we are going about the process of developing a case and finding the evidence and submitting the evidence and legal argument that's necessary to win the case. So we really don't need VA to remand based on a duty to assist error to obtain more evidence. And so I can think of one case in particular. The veteran was seeking service connection for PTSD, and our firm developed lay statements, both from the veteran's spouse, a buddy statement. We obtained a medical opinion, independent medical opinion, to opine on the issue of whether the veteran's diagnosed PTSD occurred because of a stressor that occurred during service. So we submitted all the evidence that we felt was necessary to win the case. What we thought might happen, though, is VA might perhaps see our favorable evidence, find some technicality, some technical issue with the way that a VA examination was conducted in the past, and despite the evidence that we submitted, remand the case for yet another VA exam, which would most likely be unfavorable and add significant delay. So knowing that through our experience that that's something that can often happen, what we have tried to do is, again, submit a waiver of the duty to assist, essentially telling VA that we understand that there's a duty to assist that's there to help veterans, but we would like to bypass that process. We'd like to rest the case essentially on the favorable evidence that's in the record, everything that we've submitted, and please issue a decision without causing unnecessary delay yet again by remanding the case or going to obtain an exam. So we've been trying to submit these legal waivers to get around what we think would, in many cases, be VA's instinct, which is to kick the case back to the regional office to get medical records, to get an exam that we just don't feel is necessary or helpful to actually win the case.
Do you know what the outcome of that waiver submission was, Mike?
Yeah, so that has cut down, in some of these instances, cut down significant time in receiving a decision. And so we've been able to say, again, don't go and obtain another exam for PTSD in this case. Look at the evidence that we've submitted and give us a decision as quickly as possible. And that has actually occurred. And so that is a way that we, in that case, probably cut down 6 months to maybe almost a year's worth of time. Because again, as anyone that's gone through this process knows, the process of having VA schedule the exam, do the exam, issue the exam report, issue a new decision responsive to that exam, then you have to appeal that. It's a lengthy process, a difficult process, and there are many things that can come up during that process. And in this case, we probably saved our veteran, maybe 6 months to almost a year's worth of time in order to get a decision.
That's great. I can think of a case where we did something similar, but a different case where we were filing an appeal to the board. We submitted a motion to advance the client's case based on serious illness. And in this case in particular, the serious illness that we cited was a veteran service-connected psychiatric condition, which was particularly severe and was causing severe impairment to his ability to have a normal life. And in that case, we were successful in filing the motion to advance, which is not always easy to do with psychiatric illness because I think VA is typically looking for serious illnesses like cancers or strokes or advanced heart conditions or things like that. But we were able to get the case advanced. We also waived the duty to assist because we had a very solid medical opinion. And although the board denied the case, the board did not remand it. So again, as Mike was saying, we were able to sidestep that whole remand process where the board remands for an exam and the exam needs to be scheduled and conducted and reviewed. And I'm happy to report that recently, despite the board's denial, we were able to quickly file an appeal. That veteran now has the benefit that we were seeking. And so initially at the board, of course, we didn't want a denial. We wanted a grant from the board. But the duty to assist waiver was helpful because that grant came through, I would say, a few weeks ago. And I think that that veteran would definitely still be waiting out the compensation and pension exam process had we not submitted that duty to assist waiver.
That's a really great point. Something I've seen a number of times in my practice here is that the end goal is to win the issue. It doesn't necessarily matter where in the stage you win it, um, but the end goal is to win the issue that's on appeal. And so part of the process of that sometimes is just getting a decision so that you can take the case to the next highest place, or the court even perhaps, where you feel more comfortable with the fact that you have someone looking at the case that can grant the case. And so I've heard from countless veterans who have been waiting at the board for years. I just want a decision, right? Like, I just want a decision, denial or grant. I want a grant, obviously. But the denial, oftentimes, if issued swiftly, can then serve as basis to continue strategically at the next highest place.